Welcome to Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul. Today is, let me check the date real quick, August the 18th. It's on a Tuesday. Adam Freeman here in Atlanta, Georgia. Paul Brees is in Brentwood, Tennessee. He is in his second week of virtual learning, as they call it. What do they call it in Williamson County? Remote learning. I am in my second day of remote virtual. We call it virtual learning here in Cobb County. We're sophisticated like that. So it's virtual learning. So I just finished my second shift of virtual learning. I got to tell you, Paul. I got to tell you. I did not sign up. When I started teaching, this is not what I had in mind. And I hope we get students back in the classroom as soon as possible. Because I can get the information out, that I need to get out. That's not a problem. But the interaction, I feed off that, as a lot of my fellow teachers do. And when part of the sort of rules of virtual learning are, you got to have your mics muted and all that stuff, it's very difficult to get the students to engage, to give up info, like to just comment on something unless you, actually say, hey, Paul, what do you think about that? You have to actually, ask specific kids specific things instead of asking a general question. Because if you ask a general question, you're going to get nothing but crickets. And I found that out yesterday. And so I tried to implement the direct approach. I did not, however, take your advice and ask them if they'd seen the latest Mr. Beast video.
That would have got him going for
which
sure.
I should have done. I should have done that. I don't know what he's giving away these days. What was his latest video?
The latest one was a $700,000 private island.
Nice.
So
that's worth having.
You just say Mr. Beast to middle schoolers, and all of a sudden it's unmute, and people are chirping. So there we go.
He seems to be the hot ticket. So maybe if I get a little bit of a downturn in my participation, I'll throw that out there. Maybe we encourage everybody to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul. Check us out on Twitter @DThroughSports, and listen to all of our podcasts, all of our downloads, all of our material and our episodes on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart, and Spotify. And that gets us to our hot takes of the night. A lot of stuff going on today, Paul, while we were locked in front of a computer screen from about 8 o'clock to about 1:30. At least that's what my schedule was. So the first thing is they're kind of tied together. The first two things are kind of tied together. We've got the Bucks going down as the 1 seed against the 8, the lowly, and I'm talking lowly, Orlando Magic. Okay. It didn't just lose like at the buzzer. They got beat by 12, and they played terrible. And Orlando was hitting threes. They just got outplayed, period. Now, if this can play out throughout the entire series, I don't know. Maybe they just, they may have awakened a sleeping giant. I don't know. That's yet to play out here. But these are all 7-game series, correct?
That. Let me double check. It's the
first round may just be
5.
5. Okay. See, that's important. So that first game.
Nope. I'm sorry. There is a game 7 all the way through.
Okay. So, well, we all know what that's about.
Yeah. TV ratings.
That's about TV ratings, which, oh, by the way, are in the toilet for NBA.
Yeah.
And we foresaw this, and we talked about this. And our good buddy Clay Travis up in Nashville, up at Outkick, he's been clamoring about this, and I could not be more on board with what he's been saying. And he even quoted, there was a stat on his Twitter today, it was down 45%, the NBA ratings.
Well,
or regular and posted. He even quoted a couple shows on on TLC that got better viewership than NBA playoff games. So he was really giving him a hard time, and he's been really hard on him, and somebody needs to be. So kudos, Clay Travis, for doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Drive Through Sports definitely appreciates you big time.
Oh, for sure. And here's the deal. As much as the viewer ratings are down, I mean, you do have to give it to the NBA that they have basically led this charge through this COVID and successfully are going to get through it, I think, 100%.
Yeah, I think you'll get through to a champion, to a definite asterisk champion for sure. And speaking of the asterisk champion, you and I kind of went back and forth texting today after seeing that the Bucks went down. And I think Portland and LA are playing tonight. And a lot of people, including Charles Barkley, seem to think that the Portland Trailblazers are going to take down the Lakers.
Correct.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts are this. Portland played a lot more meaningful games in the bubble.
Absolutely.
Okay? And so they are game ready, game tested, whereas the Lakers have been flopping around since they showed up, right?
Yep.
I'll take the Trailblazers in 6.
Wow, I like that. That's bold. We do bold stuff here on Drive Through Sports. I like that prediction. I think it may go to 7 games, and I think the Lakers win in 7. But Portland's going to push them to the absolute limit. They got Lillard, McCollum, and guess what? Lakers really don't have anybody that can guard those 2 guys.
Well,
no,
and Carmelo Anthony.
And Anthony, and they got a lot of good outside shooters. LA doesn't, with Avery Bradley opting out. Rondo, we don't know what his status is going to be. They've got some major, for a 1 seed, they've got some major holes. So we kind of floated this thing out. What would be the ultimate sort of diss for a finals matchup in the NBA bubble to sort of bring this whole 2020 disaster of a year to a close for the NBA?
A continuation, right? This would be the NBA. This is what we consider as the NBA's 2020 champion of, like, boom, we got you, 2020.
Yeah.
This is not going to be what you want it to be.
Exactly. And the first thing was we thought, well, heck, wouldn't it be great if both the 8 seeds made it?
Yeah.
You got Trailblazers against the Magic.
Right.
And then I think we both were kind of like, pump the brakes on that. Like, okay, that's not going to happen. All right. But I think you could have a Thunder and a Heat matchup. I mean, what if you had a Thunder and Heat? You got the Thunder, whose fan base is so small and really doesn't have – they got Chris Paul. They don't have a marquee guy. I mean, he's like their face of their franchise, really. And then you got the Heat, who I don't even know, other than Tyler Hero, because he's a Kentucky guy. I don't know who they got, some foreign guy, Dragic, Drokic, Jokic, Flokic, whatever his name is. He's pretty good. I don't know his name, though. Like, they don't have
Jimmy Butler, Adam.
Jimmy Butler, okay, when he's playing.
He was playing today.
Okay, all right. And I do believe they won, correct?
That is correct. It
was a close game, but they did come away with the win. So far, I think the Thunder were getting beat pretty bad by the Rockets, but wouldn't it be –
No, it's official. The Rockets won.
Okay. So wouldn't it be a kick in the pants if you ended up Thunder and Heat, a rematch of the, 2012
right.
Finals or whatever.
Yeah.
I just think that would be kind of the ultimate, to stick it to the NBA for all their many shortcomings, with all of their little stances that they take. And just the fact that nobody, I mean, why have a marquee matchup if nobody's watching it anyway? And nobody really seems to care about it. ESPN is trying so hard to make us care. Have you noticed that?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, they're just shoving it down our throats left and right. NBA, bubble. I mean, it's like constant. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, Paul. I'm not doing it.
Well, if you're going to ask me, and obviously I would love for the NBA just tanking the toilet, right? But if you're going to ask me what I think's going to happen, I'm going to go. So obviously, I'm going to try to predict this, Adam, as not a 1-versus-1, right? I'm going to think. I think it's going to go Rockets against the Raptors. Rockets Raptors. That's my NBA.
Really?
Rockets Raptors.
That's pretty. I mean, that's pretty bold. I mean, considering you got Russell Westbrook who did not play tonight, they still won.
Yeah.
What's it going to look like when he comes back? How much is he going to be able to play? And hopefully, if he can come back, he's going to take a little bit of the workload off of James Harden. I don't know what Harden's numbers were tonight. If that game just ended, you could probably fill us in on that before the end of the show.
Sure. Listen, you want it? You got it. I can fill you in right now, my friend.
Talk to me.
James Harden, 37.
That's a
Is that okay?
That's a B+ day for him, considering how good he has been.
Yeah.
But what was the final score?
123-108.
Okay. So, again, no defense was played even in the playoffs. The over-under for the Lakers Trailblazers game is 233, I believe. What do you got, Paul? Over-under, 233.
Wow, that is pretty high. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if the Lakers can score over 115. I know that Dame Lillard can score 115, but I'm not sure that the Lakers as a team can do that. So I'm going to take the under for all you picks out there.
Recreational.
Yeah, all you degens, take the under tonight. It's happening.
All right. I feel it because I don't think the Lakers, with this being a game one, I don't know that they're up for it. I think you're exactly right. Portland has been playing meaningful games the entire time in the bubble. I think they're geared up for it. I think they're ready. And I think the Lakers definitely go down tonight in game one. And I don't think they're going to make the over. I think I would go under as well. All right. So we talked about the Bucks going down to the Magic. Is that a fluke? Were they kind of sleepwalking like we think the Lakers are going to do today? What do you think?
Right. We call it a wake-up call in the coaching ranks, right?
Yes, indeed.
So there you go.
Yes, indeed.
Bucks will be back. Probably win the next 4.
Let's
and then they all get to go fishing.
Yeah, this is a 4-1 and wait for the next series. All right, big news out of the SEC for what seemed like on consecutive days here, right? Again, we talked about last night how the SEC is just owning the news cycle right now. They announced today that they're going to have fans.
I love it.
Guess who's not having fans?
Anchor down. Vanderbilt.
No, I mean, I think that's up to the individual states, their laws or whatever. But I know that Alabama is going to have 20% capacity, which is around 13,000 people.
Tennessee's getting 25%.
Okay. I'll tell you who's not having them. The Atlanta Falcons, at least through September. None. They just announced that today.
Well,
so you got teams that aren't having them.
Same with the Titans. So,
yeah. And I guess that's going to be adjusted probably by the end of September. But again, like I was telling somebody the other day, here we are August 18th. What's going to really be different end of September? Nothing. I mean, just go ahead and do what you're going to plan on doing. If the season started tomorrow and you had a game, what would you do? I think you could put 20,000 people in the Mercedes-Benz, in the Benz, and you'd be fine. As long as social distance, I think you'll be okay. But they're going to go with fans. And so they hit you on Monday with the schedule, which has got everybody talking, all those great matchups early. And a lot of talk, Paul, about maybe the matchup of the first weekend being that Auburn-Kentucky game.
Yeah.
Because if Kentucky can get their quarterback situation handled, and I just found out it is a situation because they've got Joey Gatewood that they're trying to get cleared through the transfer portal so he can participate. And word out of Lexington is Terry Wilson's opting out. He's not going to play. So you heard it here first on Drive Through Sports. That is the word around Lexington.
That's huge, man.
Yeah, that could be really big. So if he doesn't play, you got to have Gatewood. But I think if you've got both those guys, you could be really good on offense. Got the best offensive line, I think, in the league, and got a lot of guys coming back on defense. So that could be a really, really good game moving forward. But SEC going to have fans. It's going to be up to the individual schools on how many fans they're going to have. All right. That, to me, was not even the story of the day. The story of the day is this next hot take.
I love it.
And I love this. The Ohio governor comes out and says, we're having high school football in Ohio. Okay. You got one of the biggest college programs right down the road in the state capital, I believe, of Columbus. Our entire league, we're not playing. But, what's the big there's the big high school program in Ohio?
Yeah.
Shoot, Manasseh or something like
I
that.
know who you're talking about.
Yeah. They're going to be Friday Night Lights, baby. They're going to own – the high school football is going to own Friday. It's going to own Saturday in the state of Ohio. I think that's great for those kids that the governor has stepped up and basically said, we're going to do this. Georgia is kind of – we're still teetering. Like, we were supposed to have a scrimmage this Friday. That got eliminated. We were supposed to have another possible scrimmage date next week. Eliminated. September 4th is still the jumping off point for us to have our first game. I think 60 some odd schools are now pushing, some of them opting out of the 425 high schools in Georgia. Now, not a lot of these are, big time football schools, but some of them are. Southwest DeKalb, Decatur, Tucker. I mean, these are big time programs that are saying we're not playing. So, again, you've got some hotspot areas in DeKalb County, and there's 16 high schools in DeKalb County that are not playing football.
All right,
67 in total. Now,
there we go, Adam.
I don't think anybody's going to cry that Our Lady of Mercy is not playing, which they're not. But again, the Camden counties and the Graysons and the Mill Creeks and all those, the Mariettas, the Harrisons, we're all planning on playing.
Yeah. So you got to think of it this way, okay? Ohio high school football, LaSalle, you're playing. Cincinnati Bearcats, you're playing. Cleveland Browns, you're playing. Cincinnati Bengals, you could play. Ohio State Buckeyes, no. Great job, guys. Great job.
It's unbelievable. It's just, and I saw something on Twitter today that said they may be wavering, and I don't know if they're getting so much flack, but I just don't see them
all right
going back.
I got to jump in and tell you this. This is a great story that I saw. There is a parent of a Ohio State football player. The family is from Florida. That parent is jumping on a plane tomorrow to go knock on the Big Ten commissioner's office door and demand a meeting. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Wow. I mean, I've heard of helicopter parents before, but wow.
How about that? How about that?
That takes the cake right there.
We don't care about your opinion, James Franklin, Ryan Day, Scott Frost, but we care about this parent who's coming up from Florida. If he tells us we're going to play, guys.
It's unbelievable.
I love it.
Unbelievable.
Thank you to the Ohio governor.
Yeah, boy, he's going to win by a landslide, except he won't win the Columbus vote.
Probably not.
No, actually, yeah. So just an incredible series of events that's happened the last probably 48 hours with what's going on with college football. All right, So that gets us to next hot take. And that is my guy behind me, Fernando Tatis Jr., who, by the way, is probably the hottest hitter in the majors right now. Okay. I think he's got 10 home runs, like 23 or 24 RBIs in less than 20 games. He's putting up crazy numbers. He's just on fire. You know, the baseball looks like a beach ball to this guy right now. So in the game against the Rangers yesterday, they're up big, bases are loaded. He's up to bat. He's got a 3-0 count. Well, what's coming with a 3-0 count? It's a center cut fastball, so you don't walk in a run. He gets the green light and deposits one. It's a grand slam.
Well, I got to interrupt you right there.
Go for it.
The San Diego Padres manager, post-game interview, apparently said that Tatis got the take signal.
Yeah, apparently he has some ties to the Rangers.
He used to be, and part of the Rangers organization somehow, some way. Not in the managerial, but in a front office or something like I don't know. I'd have to.
Maybe he was a bench coach or something like that.
But he is also getting, the Padres manager is also getting some conflicting love-hate, because he did not stick up for
his
Tatis.
Best player. His best player.
And listen, this whole scenario about unwritten rules in baseball, this right here just sets me off like nothing.
Okay? Oh.
You guys, I got to understand this. You're coming from a guy with a basketball background. You don't want them to run it up. Stop them, okay? Did you tell that pitcher to throw a 3-0 fastball right down the middle? Okay. It still takes some ability and some skill to hit it over the fence.
Oh, absolutely. Listen.
Chris Woodward, shut your mouth and know your role, buddy. I'm telling you right now, stop. Hey, do something to stop Fernando Tatis Jr. And here's the funniest thing today, Adam. They had a rematch this afternoon, a little day game. Fernando Tatis stole third base, and that's like kind of a slap, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But, man, I'm telling you what, this whole thing has got me hot.
Listen, I'm totally with you. If you don't want a guy hitting a grand slam on a 3-0 pitch, don't get behind in the count on him. Okay?
How about don't put the other guys on the base? Why didn't you stop?
Yeah, exactly. You can't stop anybody. What is he supposed to do? It's almost like, it's like what Jimmy Johnson used to say when he was coaching at Miami, and he'd get accused of running up the score. He's like, dude, just because my second and third string guys I can't tell them not to play when they get in there.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not running up the score. Come on. I mean, I have sat at games, no lie. I've sat at softball games, fast pitch softball games, where our team has scored like 12 runs in an inning. And our coach will have one of our base runners like walk into an out. That's correct. On purpose. Yeah. Because as a sportsman, they understand that, hey, there's one out in the top of the first and we're winning 13-0. Yeah. Yeah. Do we want this inning to continue forever? And I've seen them do that. That's not going to happen in Major League Baseball. Yeah. I mean, the other night you had a guy, catcher, okay, reserve catcher pitching, okay. Right. That may have been in the same game because their starting pitchers couldn't get anybody out. That guy throws 67 and he gets 3 pop-up fly balls. Exactly. Exactly. Well, here's the funny story that I saw how this all took place. Is that once Tatis hit the grand slam, in the background was Manny Machado in the camera lane, okay? So you could see Machado's face as Tatis hit the grand slam, and it was like, oh, my gosh, I'm about to get plunked on the next pitch. Yeah. And sure enough, thank goodness, the guy that threw it
didn't have quite the aim. That's probably why he couldn't get anybody out. He couldn't even hit the guy square in the numbers, right?
Right.
So,
I mean, yeah, as a as a teammate, you got to be like, okay, if I'm on deck and this guy does this, I know I'm getting drilled. But see, that's another one of the unwritten rules.
that's right. That's right.
Okay, if somebody shows up your pitcher, he's getting drilled the next time.
Yep.
All right, here, and I'll tell you a personal story. All right, my very first year teaching, we had as I was my first year as an athletic trainer. We had a really good baseball team, and we ended up winning the state championship that year in 1998.
Corey Patterson,
led by a man named Corey
oh
Patterson,
yeah,
and who, by the way, in his senior season in high school, hit 19 home runs, I believe.
wow.
19 home runs in 38 games. That's how good he was.
Hey, and he's playing. I mean, he's playing. Well, at the time, 5A baseball, maybe.
It was 6A. It was the highest classification.
That's crazy.
Actually, excuse me. It was, at that time, it was 4A, but 4A was the highest classification you could play in.
Oh, he's playing the highest classification.
Yeah, so he's not playing like single A private league,
right?
Private school. I mean, this is big time. These guys are going to big time schools. They're getting drafted just like him. He was drafted number 3 overall. He's hit some balls that haven't landed yet. That's how hard and how far he hit the ball. We're playing a team over spring break from Florida. All right. They come in, and so guy hits a 3-run shot. All right. And when he hits it, I mean, he mashes this ball. We've got these big, tall pine trees in left field. Dude, he hit it in the top of the pine trees. I mean, he probably hit the thing 450. I mean, it was mashed. So he admires it. He admires it for quite a long time. Gets around, as he's coming around third, he gets within the last probably 30 feet, and he kind of does a Pedro Serrano stomp on his way to home. All right. Our coach goes out, and we have a pitching change. We bring in a left-hander out of the bullpen, John Fritchman. Okay, he's a sophomore. All right, he toes the rubber. He looks over at our coach, and our coach goes like this, like gives him the thumbs down, and he drills the guy right in the back. And I thought the benches were going to clear. They were yelling, screaming. Our coach was like, "What? You spell? You don't show up my pitch." I mean, it was like one of those deals. And it was one of the greatest memories of that season, all the great wins we had. But that's one of the things I remember most about that season was John Fritchman plunking that guy after his teammate had just showed up, our guy on the home run. So, the rules of baseball, get the guy out, man. Make a better pitch.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. All right, so again, as we like to do, we like to finish on a little bit of a human interest story. And I just came up with this one. If you got anything that you want to add, throw it in there. Okay? But we've been dealing with the virtual or the remote classroom, as they say in Middle Tennessee. And there are certain things that I think kids maybe don't quite understand when it comes to the virtual or digital or remote classroom. Guys, we don't just see you. We see everything behind you, okay? All right? Yes, we see your dogs laying on the bed. We see, your cat sitting in your lap. We try to tell them on day one, look, dress like you're going to school, dress like you're at school. I mean, I dress, in a golf shirt and pants and like I'm teaching a regular class, even though you're only seeing, this much of me. Okay. And I'm in my classroom, and, my stuff that's behind my desk is right there. And I had to tell them first day, look, guys, you need to find a place that is dedicated to your learning. And, laying on your bed, horizontal with the laptop in front of you, and you're going like this, that's not the right way to do it. Also, the pets in the background, your pet bird sitting on your shoulder, okay, which actually happened. Okay,
Yeah.
that it's just this, and some some of the kids are like so out of it. Like my first class in the morning is at 8 o'clock. These kids haven't woken up at 8 o'clock in 5 months.
Right.
So they're like zombies. And I don't know if you've noticed this at all with your kids, but it's just, I don't know. Everybody's kind of getting used to this new reality of virtual classrooms. And
Yeah, the answer is yes. I mean, it's concerning the kids in the morning. I mean, our first period starts at 7:40,
oh boy,
and you're talking about eighth graders, right? So,
oh wow,
yeah, there's very limited communicate. It's a lot of one-way communication from me to them, right?
I imagine.
But when we're talking about virtual classroom fails, you know what? I have to speak out on the behalf of the elementary school kids. Because you're talking about, let's say, for example, a first grader, who's just learning how to read. Now, hey, little first grader, I want you to learn your alphabet and I want you to learn how to read, but I need you to type on this keyboard that you have no clue what the letters mean or what order they go into. That right there is a sign of a problem. Okay.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
I feel very bad for those kids.
Yeah, I do as well, and the teachers that have to try and do what they're used to doing in person, and also the parents who have kids that are in multiple at different levels. I talked to a good friend of mine today. He's a local business owner, and former Harrison graduate, and he's got a first grader and a fourth grader. Two very different levels. You know what I'm saying? And he's got to make sure this one's focused. And he goes, I turned around and the fourth grader's playing a video game, and then I got to get him focused. And by the time I do that, I look over here and the first grader's watching him play the video game. I mean, he goes, it's just like it's true juggling. So I feel for the parents. Lucky for us, Leslie's at home on the days that Ella's at home, and can help her if she needs it. But then again, she's 17 years old. She's a junior in high school. Much different situation than your kids are going through. With the youngest is sixth grade?
Fourth grade.
Fourth grade. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Here's the thing that as we end this thing is, either way, there may be a possibility where there's no parental unit in the house. Like both of the, you have a high schooler who both parents are working. Now you're, hey, here you have the whole home to yourself. Go to school. I'll see you at 5. That's not a very good recipe for success in your educational learning.
I mean, think about us back then. I mean, we at least were at school.
Yeah.
And heck, I can't tell you the mischief I got into from 3:45 to 6:30 when my parents got home.
Right.
Unsupervised as a 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kid. So yeah, it's definitely a challenge. And you were probably the same way. Especially once you're driving and there's
sure.
Nobody's going to be home until 6:30. So,
right.
Getting kids to be disciplined. I think that's what was different about our deal this year. Starting in the fall, is we had set times that you're showing up to this meeting. It's set, and you have to come every day or 4 days a week. So anyway, but great show tonight. A lot of great things. Great games on tonight. If you're an NBA guy, I could care less. I'm more interested in high school football. Reese's got a big game coming up on Friday.
Right.
Summit against who is it?
Independence.
Summit against Independence. Backyard brawl of the highest caliber. 6A football, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Love it.
Can't wait.
Love it. So he'll be on the air, Williamson County, all access television on Friday night, starting at what? 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
That's
Williamson
right.
County TV on YouTube.
Williamson County TV on YouTube. The pregame show with Paul Brees will be starting. We'll have to check that out. But for Paul Brees, I'm Adam Freeman, and you've been listening to Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul.